I should have known something was wrong when my sister Vanessa suddenly said she could afford her dream wedding. Just 3 months earlier, she had been crying because she did not have enough money. She thought she would have to get married in our backyard instead of a fancy place. She kept saying how unfair it was and how she had always dreamed of a beautiful wedding. Now everything has changed. Vanessa was having the biggest wedding our small town had ever seen. The wedding was at a beautiful old mansion. There were flowers everywhere. The guests were eating fancy food. There was music, dancing, and decorations that looked like they came from a movie. And Vanessa's wedding dress looked very expensive. "Isn't it beautiful?" Vanessa asked as she turned around in front of a large mirror. The tiny beads on the dress sparkled in the light. "I still can't believe I got it on sale," she said with a smile. I smiled back, but something felt wrong. "It looks beautiful, Jess," I said. I was holding my 4-year-old daughter, Lily, in my arms. Our mother looked at Vanessa carefully. "I thought you said it was a sample dress," Mom said. Vanessa looked nervous for a second. "Oh, right," she said quickly. "A sample sale. That's what I meant." I watched her fix her veil. Just a few weeks ago, Vanessa had told me she was completely broke. She even said she could not help with anything because she had no money. So how could she suddenly pay for all of this? Before I could think more about it, Lily tugged on my sleeve. "Mommy," she said. "Yes, sweetheart? That dress looks like the picture from your special box." My heart almost stopped. The special box. Lily was talking about my grandmother's old jewelry box. Inside that box, I kept money that I had been saving for Lily. Lily had hearing problems. She needed a special surgery to help her hear better. For 2 years, I had worked extra hours at the hospital and saved every dollar I could. I wanted to make sure Lily could get the surgery she needed. "What special box?" I asked gently. "The one with all the money pictures," Lily said. Then she added something that made my stomach twist. "The one that was empty last week." Suddenly I remembered something. A few days earlier, I had picked up the jewelry box and thought it felt lighter. I had been so busy helping with wedding plans that I never checked the money. "Vanessa," I whispered. "Where did you really get the money for this wedding?" Vanessa's face became pale. Before she could answer, our mother rushed into the room. 5 minutes until the ceremony," she announced. Everyone hurried away. The wedding started. I walked down the aisle and smiled for photos. But my mind was full of questions. I kept thinking about what Lily had said. Last weekend Vanessa had come to my house to help me get ready for the wedding. At one point, she disappeared upstairs for almost an hour. When she came back, she said she had been looking for my makeup bag. At the time, I believed her. Now I was not so sure. The ceremony ended. Soon everyone was sitting in the reception hall. People were laughing, eating, and celebrating. Vanessa looked happier than I had ever seen her. Lily sat beside me. Her tiny hearing aids were hidden behind her curly hair. The hearing aids helped, but not enough. Without surgery, her hearing would get worse as she got older. The DJ stepped onto the stage. "Time for the speeches," he announced. The best man stood up with a glass in his hand. Before he could speak, Lily pointed at Vanessa's dress. "Mommy, it's just like the picture from your special box." The room became silent. Everyone turned to look at us. Vanessa froze. I took a deep breath. "Lily," I said softly. "Can you tell me what you mean?" Lily nodded. "Auntie Jessie was counting the money in your room last week." The room became even quieter. "She put them in her purple bag," Lily continued. Vanessa jumped to her feet. "She doesn't know what she's talking about," Vanessa shouted. But Lily kept talking. "You said the money would help fix my ears, Mommy," she said. "But now it's gone. Auntie Jessie has a pretty dress instead." I felt tears fill my eyes. All those extra shifts. All those late nights. Every dollar I had saved for my daughter. I slowly stood up. "Vanessa," I said. "Would you like to explain how you paid for this wedding?" Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Or should I tell everyone about the $15,000 that disappeared from my daughter's surgery fund? People gasped. Whispers spread through the room. Vanessa's husband, Daniel, looked shocked. "What is she talking about?" he asked. Vanessa started crying. "I was going to pay it back," she said. The room exploded with noise. People could not believe what they were hearing. "You were going to pay it back?" I asked. "Yes," Vanessa sobbed. "After the honeymoon." I stared at her. "You stole money meant for your niece's surgery." "This wedding was my dream," Vanessa cried. "My daughter's surgery was her dream," I answered. The room became silent again. Daniel looked confused and upset. "What surgery fund?" he asked. My hands shook as I took out my phone. For 2 years, I had carefully recorded every dollar I saved. I showed everyone pictures of my savings records. I also showed photos of the jewelry box. Then I showed something else. A security camera picture. Vanessa was clearly visible leaving my house with her purple bag. Daniel stared at the screen. His face turned white. "You stole $15,000? He asked. Vanessa started crying harder. "Please let me explain." But nobody wanted excuses. Our mother looked shocked. "There has to be a mistake," she said. Lily tugged on my arm. Show them the video, Mommy. Vanessa suddenly looked terrified. What video? She asked. I opened another file on my phone. After my divorce, I had installed security cameras in my house. I wanted to keep Lily and myself safe. I never thought the cameras would catch a family member stealing from me. The video began to play. Everyone watched the screen. Vanessa walked into my bedroom. She searched through my things. Then she found the jewelry box. She opened it. She counted the money. Then she put all the cash into her purple bag. Finally, she put the empty box back exactly where she found it. Nobody said a word. The proof was right there. There was no way to deny it. Daniel slowly stepped away from Vanessa. He looked heartbroken. I can't believe this, he said quietly. Vanessa reached for him. Daniel, please. But he stepped back. You told me your parents paid for the wedding. Vanessa looked down. You said it was an early inheritance. More whispers spread through the room. I shook my head. Mom and Dad could never afford this wedding, I said. They've been struggling with money for years. Vanessa covered her face. Stop, she whispered. No, I said. People deserve to know the truth. Our father stood up. He had been quiet the entire time. What do you mean we've been struggling? He asked. I looked at him sadly. Because I've been helping with the mortgage payments. The room gasped again. Mom looked surprised. You were helping us? She asked. I nodded. For over a year. My parents stared at me. They never knew how much help I had been giving them. I never told anyone because I did not want them to feel embarrassed. Now every secret seemed to be coming out at once. Vanessa looked around the room. All the guests were staring at her. Some looked angry. Some looked disappointed. Others looked shocked. The beautiful wedding she had dreamed about was falling apart right in front of her. Daniel slowly removed his wedding ring. The sound of it touching the table seemed very loud in the silent room. Vanessa's eyes widened. Daniel, please don't do this. He shook his head. I married someone I thought I knew. Tears rolled down Vanessa's face. I made a mistake. No, Daniel replied. A mistake is forgetting something. This was a choice. Vanessa started sobbing. But nobody rushed to comfort her. Everyone was thinking about Lily. Everyone was thinking about the little girl whose surgery money had been stolen. Lily leaned against me. Mommy. Yes, sweetheart. Will my ears still get fixed? That simple question broke my heart. I hugged her tightly. Yes, I promised. I don't know how yet, but I will make sure it happens. For the first time all evening, Lily smiled. The room remained quiet. People looked at Vanessa differently now. Not as a beautiful bride. Not as the center of a perfect wedding. But as someone who had hurt her own family. I held Lily close and looked around the room. The wedding decorations were still beautiful. The flowers were still perfect. The music was still playing softly in the background. But none of those things mattered anymore. The truth had finally come out. And sometimes the truth is more powerful than the biggest wedding in the world. Every month, Vanessa told people that she did not have enough money to help anyone. But now the truth was coming out, and people at the wedding were starting to talk. Small whispers spread through the room as guests looked at one another in shock. Vanessa's dream wedding was falling apart. Everything she had worked so hard to make look perfect was breaking down right in front of her eyes. Just like the lies she had told, her perfect day was coming undone piece by piece. I'll pay the money back, Vanessa cried. Tears rolled down her cheeks, leaving dark Daniels in her makeup. Please believe me. I'll get a loan. I'll work extra hours. I'll do whatever it takes. Just please don't ruin my wedding day. Daniel stared at her. Ruin your wedding day? He asked sadly. Vanessa, you ruined it yourself. You chose to lie. You chose to steal. You made these choices. Vanessa looked around the room, hoping someone would help her. But nobody spoke. At that moment, little Lily gently tugged on my sleeve. Mommy, she asked quietly, will I still get my new ears? The room suddenly became very quiet. The adults looked at Lily, and many of them felt their hearts ache. She was such a sweet little girl. All she wanted was the chance to hear better. Several guests wiped tears from their eyes. They now understood that the money Vanessa had stolen was not just money. It was money that had been saved for Lily's surgery. My daughter had waited so long for help. Yet Vanessa had taken that money to pay for flowers, decorations, fancy food, and expensive wedding things. What surgery does Lily need? Daniel asked. I took a deep breath. She needs cochlear implants, I explained. Insurance helps pay for some of it, but not all of it. We still needed $15,000. I've been saving every extra dollar for 2 years. Daniel looked shocked. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out his checkbook. Without saying another word, he began writing. Vanessa rushed toward him. Daniel, stop. Please. But he continued writing. When he finished, he tore out the check. I'll pay for it, he said firmly. My eyes widened. What? I'll cover the surgery, he said. Think of it as a wedding gift. Actually, maybe it's more like a divorce gift. Vanessa gasped. Daniel, no. We can work this out. He stepped away from her. Work what out? He asked. The lies? The stealing? The fact that my wife stole money from a child who needed medical care. Vanessa opened her mouth, but could not answer. There is nothing left to work out, Daniel said. Our mother quickly stepped forward. Maybe everyone should calm down, she said nervously. We can sit down, eat some cake, and talk about this later. I could not stay quiet anymore. Later? I asked. When should we talk about it? After the honeymoon? After all the wedding pictures are taken? After everyone forgets what happened? Mom looked down. The wedding planner stood nearby looking worried. The band had stopped playing music. The food servers stood frozen in place, holding trays of food nobody wanted anymore. The whole wedding had come to a standstill. I looked directly at Vanessa. I want every dollar returned by Monday, I said. If I don't get it back, I will call the police. Vanessa looked horrified. You wouldn't do that. I'm your sister. I folded my arms. And you're the sister who stole from my child. Daniel handed me the check. I made $20,000, he said. I looked at the amount. It was more than we needed. The extra money is for anything else Lily may need, Daniel explained. Medical costs, therapy, or legal help. Then he turned toward Vanessa. His face was calm, but his eyes were full of disappointment. Don't come back to our house, he said. I'll send your things to your mother's home. Vanessa began crying harder. As she watched everything fall apart, she made one last attempt to defend herself. The money was just sitting there, she cried. You didn't need it right away. I was going to put it back before Lily's surgery. I stared at her. Lily's surgery is next month. Vanessa froze. What? I already had it scheduled, I said. I was planning to tell everyone at Mom and Dad's anniversary dinner. It was going to be a happy surprise. Vanessa's face became pale. She suddenly realized how serious her actions had been. The wedding planner slowly raised her hand. Should I tell the band to pack up? She asked quietly. Nobody answered. Then Lily spoke again. Mommy, she said, does this mean I can get my new ears now? I knelt beside her and hugged her tightly. Yes, sweetheart, I whispered. 2 months later, I sat in a hospital waiting room. Lily's favorite stuffed bunny rested in my lap. She was in surgery getting her cochlear implants. A lot had changed since the wedding. Daniel had ended his marriage almost immediately. Vanessa had moved back into our parents' house. People all over town had heard about what happened. Many people talked about it for weeks. The check Daniel gave us had cleared right away. Because of his kindness, Lily was able to get not only the surgery she needed, but also the best therapy afterward. I would always be grateful for that. A nurse walked into the waiting room. She smiled warmly. Mrs. Thompson? I stood up immediately. Yes. The surgery went perfectly, she said. Lily is doing very well. I felt tears fill my eyes. For months, I had worried about this day. Now everything has gone well. I thanked the nurse and followed her through the hallway. As we walked, my phone buzzed. I looked down. Another message from Vanessa. Please let me see Lily. I just want to make things right. I sighed. For 2 months she had been sending messages. She had called. She had left voicemails. She had written letters. She had even stopped by the house a few times. But I was not ready to forgive her. Some wounds take a long time to heal. When I entered Lily's room, she looked so small in the hospital bed. Bandages were wrapped around her head. The doctor explained that the implants would be turned on after she healed. Then she would begin learning to hear sounds more clearly. Lily had been incredibly brave through all of it. She even told her preschool class she was getting magic superhero ears. I smiled every time I remembered that. Mommy, she whispered sleepily. I gently held her hand. Yes, baby? Did they give me my new ears? I smiled. Yes, they did. Her face brightened. Really? Really? She smiled and slowly closed her eyes. Just then I heard voices outside. The voices became louder. Someone was arguing with a nurse. I stepped into the hallway. To my surprise, it was Vanessa. Ma'am, you can't go in there, the nurse said. I'm her aunt, Vanessa pleaded. Please let me see her. Then she noticed me standing there. Rachel. I quietly closed Lily's door. What are you doing here? Vanessa looked terrible. Dark circles sat beneath her eyes. Her hair was messy. She looked exhausted. Nothing like the confident bride from 2 months ago. I had to come, she said softly. Why? Mom told me today was the surgery. She looked down. I've been sitting in my car for hours trying to gather the courage to come inside. I crossed my arms. The courage to do what? Hurt us again. Vanessa flinched. No. I continued. Daniel told me everything. He said you searched my house more than once looking for valuables before you found the money. Vanessa looked ashamed. I know. That wasn't an accident. I know. That wasn't a mistake. I know. She slowly slid down the wall and sat on the floor. Tears filled her eyes. I know what I did was terrible. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, she continued. The therapist Mom found for me has been helping me understand things. What things? How obsessed I became with looking perfect. She wiped away tears. I cared too much about what people thought. I wanted the perfect wedding, the perfect pictures, the perfect life. She shook her head, and I convinced myself that hurting other people was okay if it helped me get those things. I looked at her. For the first time in a long time, she seemed honest. We used to be so close, I said quietly. Vanessa nodded. We were. As children, we shared everything. We shared toys. We shared clothes. We shared secrets. We shared dreams about the future. Somewhere along the way, she had lost herself. She became more focused on appearances than people. More focused on being admired than being kind. Lily still asks about you sometimes, I admitted. Vanessa looked surprised. She does. Yes. Fresh tears rolled down her cheeks. What do you tell her? I thought for a moment. I tell her that sometimes adults make very big mistakes. Vanessa nodded sadly. And then I tell her that good people try to learn from those mistakes and become better. Vanessa cried quietly. After a few moments, she looked up. Are you really not calling the police? I shook my head. No. Relief spread across her face. But that doesn't mean everything is okay. She nodded. I know. The trust is gone, Vanessa. More tears filled her eyes. I know. If you ever want to be part of Lily's life again, you'll have to earn that trust back. How? I looked directly at her. Get help. Keep going to therapy. Get a steady job. Pay Daniel back. Show people you've changed through your actions. Vanessa listened carefully. Then she nodded. I'll do it. A nurse stepped out of Lily's room. Mrs. Thompson, she's asking for you. I turned toward the door. Then Vanessa called my name. Rachel? I looked back. Thank you for not calling the police. I remained silent. And I'm sorry, she continued. Not just for stealing the money. I'm sorry for becoming someone who could hurt her own niece. I nodded. Then I returned to Lily's room. As soon as she saw me, her face lit up. Mommy! I smiled. Hi, sweetheart. I heard voices. Was somebody here? I brushed her hair gently. Yes. Who? I thought for a moment. Then I smiled softly. Someone who is learning a very important lesson. Lily tilted her head. About magic ears? I laughed quietly. No, sweetheart. Then about what? About becoming a better person. Lily smiled and closed her eyes. A few minutes later, I sent a text message to our mother. Vanessa was here today. Please help her keep getting help. Maybe one day she can earn another chance. I looked at Lily sleeping peacefully. Life had been very hard lately. But we had made it through. Vanessa lost almost everything because she cared too much about having one perfect day. Lily, however, gained something wonderful. Soon she would hear birds singing. She would hear rain tapping on windows. She would hear music more clearly. She would hear laughter and whispers and all the little sounds that make up the world. Vanessa had wanted people to remember her perfect wedding. Instead, people remembered a lesson. A lesson about honesty. A lesson about family. A lesson about kindness. And most importantly, a lesson about trust. Because trust is precious. Once it is broken, it takes a very long time to repair. But if someone is truly sorry and works hard to change, healing can slowly begin. And sometimes, even after the biggest mistakes, people can learn how to become better than they were before.
अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ गए जो दिन सहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा बेसर्द लगता है दिल का हर एक कोना अब बहुत ही दूर भरता है अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ मैं ये जो दिन सुहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा सर्द लगता है दिल का हर एक कोना बहुत ही दर्द भरता है मेरे साए भी मुझसे अब जुदा होने को कहते हैं तुझे खोने की राहों में ये आंसू बहने लगते कहाँ ढूंढूं मेरा वो साजो सामा, तो मेरी हर एक तमन्ना तू, मेरी रूह का मकान तू। लकीरों में नहीं लिखा जो तुमने ख्वाब देखा था, वफा की इस कहानी में फकत एक गम ही लिखा था। सितारों से भी पूछता है पता तेरा कहाँ होगा, मगर खामोश है दुनिया, कहाँ मेरा जहाँ होगा। बस एक बार मुड़ के देख ले मेरी बेबसी की सूरत, मुझे है आज भी तेरी वफा की सख्त जरूरत। साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर, साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर, दर्द का असर।